everybody, did you miss me? This is Amy from Chateau de Rosieres, and we're back after nearly a year since we last published a video that had any sort of content in it whatsoever. Now, I think last December I put out a video explaining that we'd had some difficult circumstances and we'd be back when we were ready. Well, you know, I thought that might be a month or so, but it's turned into a year. But I feel ready to restart. I've got so much to tell you all about. Next weekend, we are going to do a series of videos which will show you the full story behind what happened last year and why we had to stop. It was all around the concert, and it was a week of triumph, disaster, natural disasters, human disasters. I know it's very trendy on YouTube. Can I use the word trendy? No, that's a bit old-fashioned. It's very common on YouTube to use exaggeration, hyperbole, but you really won't believe what happened that week. And I think it's going to take us a few videos to show you it. And then we can move on with our fabulous project. But in the meantime, today, whilst I've still got your attention, I'm going to show you just a quick overview of some of the stuff that we've been doing and one very important project that I finally found the answer to. I'm talking to you today from the second floor of the chateau in what is my temporary clay studio, ceramic studio, otherwise known as Shelob's Lair. Now up here I have some developments in one of my oldest projects. If any of you ever watched the TV show we were involved in, which is variously called Escape to the Chateau DIY, or in France, Chateau XXL, which always sounds a bit weird, you will have seen the tile project that I started, which is what got me into producing tiles in the first place. What I started with was what most people understand to be making your own tiles, and you'll see this a lot across YouTube. Someone will go and make their own tiles. They're not making their own tiles, they're glazing their own tiles. And I started with this because I knew I needed to start somewhere. So I took biscuit fired tiles, which is so they're pre-fired to a certain temperature, and then I used glazes which can be understood by pottery idiots like me. It's a fantastic type of glaze that's been developed by Mako, and they're as close to paints as you can get, really. And this is what people use in these studios where you go and paint your own mug or make your own tiles, because it's as close as you can understand to glazing without having to do a degree in it. And I designed the back of a shower. This is going to be the shower in the grand bedroom where the bird paintings are. And I thought I'd make it look like a stained glass window with a very simplified Art Deco design, because I'm really not an artist. I'm not good at drawing or painting. And so I felt like this stylized type of painting and design would be better for me. And 6 years later, I still haven't finished it. But I drew out my massive design because it's going to be big on the back of a shower. I drew it onto the tiles and I painted some of them, or glazed some of them and fired them. But I didn't glaze all of them, and there was some interruptions by inconvenient things like babies that meant I lost the momentum. And the momentum is that when you paint one of them, you need to do it all in one go, because you forget how many layers you've done on each colour and things don't look the same when they're glazed as they do when you're painting it on. So you need to really concentrate. It takes about 2 hours or more to do each tile, which, having my small children, made impossible. So we had a visit from Michael earlier in the year, who painted the wonderful mural in our bedroom and also the painting in the concert hall, which we'll show you more of in next week's videos. And he went through my design and he did an amazing paint by numbers job to finish my last remaining tiles. And I couldn't fire them when he was here because I lost my firing schedule. You create a different set of temperatures for firing, which will create different effects and fire them in different ways. Glaze reacts differently at different temperatures. So if I were to, because there's so much continuity in this, if I were to fire some of them at different temperatures, then the other ones, then it would be a waste of time. But I opened my ceramics Bible book and I found my firing schedules, and I'm pretty sure they went with these tiles. And so what a firing schedule means is that you have different ramps of temperature. The first ramp, you go very slowly to get out all the moisture up to 200 degrees. This is Celsius I'm talking. Then you go up to the next one a bit faster, and then up to the top temperature very fast, and then you hold it at the top temperature for a set amount of time, about 20 minutes. So all of those variations can change the outcome of the colours. And I think I've found it. So today I'm going to attempt to fire the rest of this mural and then hopefully show you the results tomorrow. As I was about to go and put these in the kiln, I thought, do you know what? It's been so many, I've done all of this over so many years that I need to make sure it's still in place. So I'm lying it out on a carpet in the chateau where hopefully the children won't be running around at the moment. And I'm just evening it all up and having a look. And you can see, you know, how tricky it is to get the glazing right, because it all looks like perfect coverage. And then when you glaze it, you end up seeing all the brush strokes and the differences in coverage. And while some of that can be charming, I do think that I'm probably going to end up firing it again, the whole thing this time. So if it comes out roughly okay, the ones that we've done at different times, because Michael did a lot of these, about half the tail bits and the back, and me and my mum did some of this bit, and my friend Robin did bits of that. You know, we've been doing it over years. If it all turns out roughly okay, I will just probably refire with a couple of touch-ups, but also a clear glaze over the top. I know this one's already shiny, but there are the occasional places where there's a join where I can feel the roughness underneath of the tile. And if it's on the back of a shower, the water can get into that and cause cracks. And after the amount of years I've spent on this, I do not want it to crack and break. So I'm just putting it together now, lining it all up, checking all the little bits. And while I do so, I'm going to give you a quick recap on some of the things we've been doing over the last year. Now, after the last concerts last year, we had to spend quite a lot of time properly moving into the coach house because, as you remember, hopefully, in the June when we were going to do it, Marc had his really bad accident part of the way through, and so we were stuck half and half. And so we spent the rest of the autumn really moving in down there and doing some cool things, moving in a better bed, stuff I'll show you around. I mean, it's not that interesting. It's mostly just moving your stuff in when you've got two kids. Something that took me personally a long time was that I ordered the kids a playground, like an outdoor playground for Christmas. Now, if Clement asks you, this came from Santa Claus, and I hate to think the sort of letter Santa Claus is going to get this year because he came in for a lot of stick when I started putting that together, and it took me months because what they sent us was not so much a kit, but 2 pallets of raw wood that you were expected to sand, drill your own holes and put together. So it was essentially wood and a plan. And I am not a carpenter. And I had help from Michael, who did this. He's very, very useful. I had help from 2 other people who started working with us, who you'll get to know soon. And I did quite a lot of it myself and became quite a lot more confident with woodwork as a result. We've also been having to do a lot of work on our land, a lot of administrative work, like we have to submit forest plans to the government to have them approved on how we manage them. So lots of paperwork. And we've been doing all of this with very little help because dastardly Margot abandoned us to go off to do her studies. We basically were on our own for a long time. We've been moving forward with the gardens, work on both greenhouses. If you don't watch our garden channel, which has also been on pause, then go back and check out Marc's amazing transformation of an old water cistern into a fully functioning greenhouse. There's been more work done on that. There's been a lot of work done on plans. We've been really moving ourselves out of the chateau so we can do proper plans. We're working with an architecture company to get it right. We have some initial plans from them, which is very exciting. We're also working with a landscape architect on the garden plans, and we've also been working with the local government on some of our plans for opening to the public. So it's fairly big scale stuff that's quite hard to show you in a video, but has taken a lot of time. And it feels like right now we're about to make a few really big leaps forward, and it felt like that was a really good time to start catching you up on what we've been doing. Trying to make sure it doesn't touch the edges at all, because when glaze is glass, and so when it melts it will weld. If it's two pieces of ceramic touched with glaze in between, they will be welded together. You can put kiln wash on to stop them sticking, but I know that with this I can be pretty careful. It's not a very runny glaze. So I'm just saving myself a bit of time. Next level. That is a very, very full kiln. Hoping everything's okay and not touching. It was very carefully done. Now to... Top 3 is a good one. Nice. Those ones are, I believe, true to colour. For the rest, potentially some more touch-ups to be done, but generally fine, which gives me some hope for the rest.
One layer copper.
Thanks, love. What do you think of it, darling?
Good.
Yeah? Is it beautiful?
Yeah.
So, I think it looks incredible. There is still a bit of work to do because I think I must have used a mixed colour on the bits of the tail that I did. And so when Michael did it, it came out as a different colour. That's fine. I can go over those bits, it's not a problem. There's also obviously a couple of places where I missed a second coat. And I do remember my mum doing some and then putting a note saying needs a third coat or something on it. And then obviously the notes got lost. I totally love the wings that Michael did. And I think a lot of the variation will actually look all right. And do you think it looks like my original drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'm really pleased with that. I even think if we just put it up like this now, it wouldn't be too offensive, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I'd like to get it right. It's so good to be back. I'm really happy to be talking to you again, showing you what we've been doing. We've had this amazing time of so much new work going on. Please don't forget to like this and subscribe, and then keep your eyes peeled for next week, because we're going to do a whole series of videos night to night to show you what went down at the concert last year, and it really is worth watching. It was an incredible week. So thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.